My wife got pregnant by my own golden child brother. Now they're jobless, broke, and standing on my doorstep begging for help. I looked them dead in the eyes, laughed, slammed the door in their faces, and drove off in my brand new BMW. I never imagined I'd become the guy secretly checking his wife's phone. But after 5 years of marriage, that's exactly what I did. Bianca and I met at a mutual friend's wedding, one of those moments where she laughed at my terrible joke about the open bar, and I knew I wanted to hear that laugh every day. We bought a house 2 years in. Nothing fancy, just a 3-bedroom ranch in a decent neighborhood. I'd saved for the down payment before we even met. Put the mortgage in my name. She moved in after the wedding. I work as a regional operations manager for a mid-size manufacturing company. Long hours, steady paycheck, benefits. The kind of job that pays the bills and doesn't make for interesting dinner conversation. Bianca freelanced as a graphic designer, worked from home most days. We had a routine: coffee together in the mornings, dinner at 7, Netflix on weekends. My younger brother Felix has always been the golden child. 3 years younger, still figuring out his path. He'd bounce between sales gigs and startup ideas that always crashed within months, but my parents treated every failure like a learning experience. Every success I had was expected. Every stumble Felix made was brave. I was the responsible one. The boring one. Things started changing around February. Small things at first. Bianca stopped asking about my day. Started keeping her phone face down on the counter, screen always dark. When calls came in, she'd take them in the bedroom. Close the door, I'd hear her voice go soft through the walls. "Just a client," she'd say when she came back out. Then came the late nights. Working on a deadline for a big project. Meeting a potential client for drinks. She'd come home after 10, sometimes 11, smelling like cologne I didn't recognize. I told myself I was being paranoid. Marriage takes work. People get busy. She was building her business, but she stopped touching me. Stopped asking me to touch her. We'd lie in bed facing opposite walls. It was a Thursday in late March when everything shattered. I came home early. Afternoon meetings got canceled. Supplier called in sick. The house was quiet. Bianca's laptop was open on the couch, but she wasn't there. Then I heard the shower running upstairs. Her phone was on the kitchen counter. Face up. Unlocked. A notification banner slid down from the top of the screen. "Felix. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Miss you already." My stomach dropped. I picked up the phone, opened the thread before I could talk myself out of it. Scrolled up. Weeks of messages. Maybe months. "I love you, too. He's working late again. Come over. Last night was perfect." I kept scrolling. My jaw clenched tighter with every line. Then I found it. "Bianca, I took 3 tests, all positive." Felix, "Holy crap. Are you sure?" "Bianca, doctor confirmed it yesterday." "I'm 8 weeks. 8 weeks." I scrolled faster. "Felix, what do we do?" "Bianca, I talked to a lawyer friend. If we wait until after the baby's born to file, he'll have to pay child support regardless of paternity. Even when the truth comes out later." "Felix. That's brilliant. What about alimony?" "Bianca, she said I could get at least $1,200 a month for 3 years. Maybe more depending on the judge." "Felix. So, between child support and alimony, we're looking at what? $3,000 a month?" "Bianca. Probably. He makes decent money, Felix, enough to fund our new life together." I almost feel bad. "Bianca, don't. He'll survive. He always does." My vision tunneled. I kept reading. "Felix. When do we tell him?" "Bianca. After the baby comes. We'll have everything lined up. Apartment, lawyer, custody arrangement. Clean break. Felix? And family dinner Saturday? We still announcing the pregnancy?" "Bianca. Yeah. See how he reacts. If he suspects anything, we'll know." "Felix. He won't. He's clueless." "Bianca, I know. That's what makes this so easy." I heard the shower shut off upstairs. I put the phone back exactly where I found it. Walked into the living room. Sat down on the couch. Stared at the wall. Footsteps on the stairs. Bianca appeared in the doorway. Hair wet, wrapped in my bathrobe. She smiled when she saw me. "Hey, babe. Didn't hear you come in. Meetings ended early." She walked over, kissed the top of my head. "Want to order Thai tonight?" "I'm exhausted." "Sure. You okay? You look tense." "Just tired. Long week." She squeezed my shoulder and disappeared into the bedroom to get dressed. I sat there on that couch, in the house I bought, paying the mortgage on the life I built. The family dinner was Saturday. 2 days away. I had 48 hours to decide. Do I confront them now, or do I sit at that table and watch them announce my wife's pregnancy while my brother smiles in my face? I chose the second option. Friday passed in a fog. I went to work, came home. Acted normal. Bianca kept glancing at me over dinner like she was waiting for something, but I gave her nothing. Just nodded when she talked about her design projects. Asked basic questions. Cleared my plate. Saturday morning. She was nervous. Changed outfits 3 times. Settled on a loose navy dress that hid everything. Do I look okay? She asked. You look fine. The drive to my parents' house took 20 minutes. Bianca spent most of it on her phone, texting. I didn't need to guess who. Felix's car was already in the driveway when we pulled up. Black Mazda with a dented bumper and expired registration tags. He'd borrowed money from Dad to fix it 6 months ago. Never did. Inside. Mom was pulling a pot roast from the oven. The house smelled like rosemary and garlic. Dad was in his recliner watching a basketball game. Felix was sprawled on the couch with a beer, grinning like he'd already won something. There he is. Felix called out. How's corporate life treating you, big brother? Same as always. Still grinding away, huh? Must be exhausting. Someone has to pay the bills. He laughed. Bianca shot him a look. He took another sip of his beer. Dinner was served at 6. Mom's pot roast, mashed potatoes, green beans. Dad said grace. Everyone dug in. The conversation was typical. Dad asked about work. I gave him the standard update. Mom asked Bianca about her design clients. Felix talked about some new business opportunity he was exploring. Import-export. Cryptocurrency. Something vague that would collapse in 3 months. I watched them. Really watched them. The way Felix's eyes kept drifting to Bianca. The way she'd smile at him when she thought no one was looking. The way my mother hung on his every word while barely acknowledging mine. Then Bianca set down her fork. Actually, she said, voice shaking slightly, we have some news. Mom's head snapped up. Oh my God. Are you? I'm pregnant. The table exploded. Mom screamed. Literally screamed. Ran around the table to pull Bianca into a hug. Dad stood up, shook my hand hard enough to hurt. Congratulations, son. About time. Felix was the first one to hug Bianca after Mom let go. He held her for 5 seconds too long. Kissed her cheek. That's amazing. He said, loud enough for everyone to hear. Then quieter, just for her. I'm so proud of you. No one noticed. No one asked how far along she was. No one did the math. They were too busy celebrating. I sat there, ate another bite of pot roast. It tasted like nothing. How are you feeling? Mom asked Bianca, guiding her back to her seat. Any morning sickness? Cravings? A little nauseous in the mornings, but I'm managing. That's normal. It'll pass. Oh, I'm so excited. My first grandchild. Felix raised his beer. To new beginnings. Everyone clinked glasses. I lifted mine. Said nothing. After dinner, Bianca excused herself to the bathroom. Felix got up to help with dishes. I counted to 30, then followed them into the kitchen. They were standing by the sink. Close. His hand on her lower back. Cute. I said. They jumped apart like I'd fired a gun. What? Felix recovered first, all innocent confusion. The performance really sold it. I don't know what you're talking about. I pulled out my phone. Opened the screenshots I'd taken Thursday night. Turned the screen toward them. Felix's smile died. Bianca went pale. How long have you known? Long enough. It's not. Felix started. Don't. My voice was flat. Cold. I read everything. The plan. The timeline. The child support calculations. All of it. Bianca's eyes filled with tears. Not the guilty kind. The defensive kind. You went through my phone? You're sleeping with my brother and carrying his baby, but I'm the villain for finding out? You had no right. I had every right. Felix stepped forward. Look. Man. Just let us explain. Explain what? How you've been planning to ambush me. How you joked about me funding your life together. I turned toward the dining room. Actually, let's get Mom and Dad in here. I'm sure they'd love to hear this. Wait. Felix grabbed my arm. I yanked it away. Just wait. Can we talk about this like adults? Adults? I laughed. You want to talk about being adults? I made a mistake. Felix said. His voice dropped. Trying for sincerity. We both did. But this is real. What we have. It's real. She loves me. Bianca was full on crying now. You were never enough. You were never home. Felix actually listens to me. He sees me. Footsteps. Mom appeared in the doorway, drying a wine glass. What's all the yelling about? I looked at her. Ask your golden boy. It spilled out then. Not from me. From Bianca. She told them everything. Framed it like some tragic love story. 2 people who couldn't fight their feelings anymore. Star-crossed. Inevitable. We didn't mean to hurt anyone. She sobbed. But it happened. And now we're having a baby together. I waited for my mother to defend me. To scream at Felix. To throw them both out of her house. Instead, she looked at me. You need to calm down. Excuse me? This is hard for everyone. Getting angry won't help. Hard for everyone? I stared at her. Felix has been sleeping with my wife, and now they're in love. Mom said, like that explained everything. People grow apart. It happens. You need to be mature about this. Dad appeared behind her. Your brother finally found someone who makes him happy. You should be supportive. She's my wife. And maybe she wasn't meant to be. Dad said. Sometimes these things work out for the best. Felix put his arm around Bianca. She leaned into him. You're all insane. I said, we're family. Mom said, family forgives. Family moves forward. I looked at each of them. My parents. My brother. My wife. Then I walked out. Got in my car. Drove home. Sat in the driveway for an hour. Monday morning, I called a divorce lawyer. The proceedings took 4 months. Bianca's attorney painted me as controlling, emotionally distant, borderline abusive. My own mother testified on her behalf. Said I never showed affection. That I was always working, never present. Felix played the hero, claimed he only got involved because Bianca needed emotional support. I lost my car in the settlement. Had to sell it, split the cash. The judge ordered alimony. $1,200 a month for 3 years. California's a no-fault state, my lawyer explained. Infidelity doesn't impact the ruling, but I kept the house. Pre-marital asset. Deed in my name. Title clear. They fought for it hard. Bianca's lawyer argued she'd contributed to the household, deserved equity. The judge disagreed. When the papers were signed, I stood outside the courthouse and looked at that document. Everything I'd lost listed in black and white. Everything except the one thing that mattered. I still had the house. Felix moved into Bianca's new apartment the day after the divorce was finalized. I know because Mom called to tell me. Said they were starting fresh and I should wish them well. I hung up on her. That was the last conversation we had for 2 years. I blocked all of them that night. Mon, Dad, Felix, Bianca. Changed my number the next morning. Deleted every social media account I had. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all of it. If they wanted to reach me, they'd have to show up in person. Mom tried anyway. Called my work 3 times in the first week. My assistant learned to screen her out. Your mother's online too again. She'd say. Tell her I'm unavailable. She says it's urgent. It's not. The voicemails piled up. I never listened to them. Just deleted them in batches every few days. 17 messages. 23, 31. Eventually, they stopped coming. Felix showed up at my house exactly once. It was a Thursday night, almost midnight. I was in bed when I heard pounding on the front door. Looked through the window and saw him standing there under the porch light, swaying. Drunk. Come on, man. He yelled. Open up. We need to talk. I called the police, told them there was an intoxicated man on my property refusing to leave. Gave them his name, his car make and model. They arrived 12 minutes later. I watched from the upstairs window as they made him sit on the curb, ran his information, told him to go home. He never came back. The house felt massive without Bianca. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a kitchen I barely used. I bought it thinking we'd fill it. Kids, maybe a dog. Now it was just me and the echo of my footsteps on hardwood floors. I threw myself into work because the alternative was sitting in that empty house and going insane. Started coming in at 6, leaving at 8. Took on every project no one else wanted. Supply chain optimization, vendor negotiations, cost reduction initiatives. The kind of tedious, detail-heavy work that required 60-hour weeks and 0 social life. I didn't care. I had nothing else. 3 months in, I found an inefficiency in our shipping logistics that was costing us $40,000 a month. Fixed it. Saved the company $500,000 in the first quarter. My boss noticed. 6 months in, I restructured our vendor contracts and cut material costs by 18%. My boss really noticed. The first year was the hardest. I'd wake up at 3 in the morning and just lie there, staring at the ceiling. Replaying the dinner. The messages. The courtroom. My mother's testimony. Over and over until my alarm went off at 5. Some nights I'd stand in the driveway and think about driving to their apartment. Confronting them again, demanding to know how they could do it. How they could sleep at night. But I never did. Silence was cleaner. Silence didn't give them anything to use against me. I started running. 5 miles every morning before work. Then 7. Then 10. Lost 20 pounds. Stopped drinking completely. Bought a home gym and spent my evenings lifting until my arms shook. The anger didn't disappear. It just calcified. Hardened into something cold and permanent in my chest. People at work started asking if I was okay. I'd smile. Say I was great. Change the subject. My assistant asked if I wanted to join the company softball team. I declined. Invitations to happy hours. Declined. Someone's birthday party. Declined. I wasn't okay. But I was functional. And functional was enough. Year 2 was easier. The house stopped feeling empty and started feeling like mine. I repainted the bedroom. Bought new furniture. Threw out everything that reminded me of her. The couch we picked out together. The kitchen table. The framed photos. All of it. Started sleeping through the night again. Stopped checking my blocked call log. Stopped wondering what they were doing or if they thought about me. I got promoted to senior regional manager. Modest raise, more responsibility. I took it without negotiating, told my boss I wanted to prove myself in the role before asking for more money. He respected that. I stopped counting the days I didn't think about them. Stopped measuring my life against the divorce. Just existed. Worked. Ran. Lifted. Slept. Repeat. And then one Tuesday morning in late March, almost exactly 2 years after I found those messages, my boss called me into his office. "Shut the door," he said. His tone wasn't the usual casual management voice. This was serious. I closed the door and sat down across from him. He slid a folder across his desk. "I need to talk to you about your future here." I'd been with the company 7 years. Survived 2 rounds of layoffs. Turned around 3 failing projects. The last 2 years alone, I'd saved them over $1 million. So when my boss said we needed to talk about my future, my first thought was, I'm getting fired. "You've been destroying it," he said. "Senior regional manager isn't big enough for what you're capable of." I opened the folder. Job description on top. Director of Operations, Western Division. You'd oversee 6 facilities. Report directly to the VP. We're talking major strategic decisions, budget authority, team building. He leaned back in his chair. "It's a big jump. But you've earned it." I scanned the compensation page. $140,000 base salary. Performance bonuses up to 20%. Stock options. 40% more than I was making now. "There's one more thing," he said. He pulled out a set of car keys. BMW logo on the fob. Company car. 5 Series. Fully loaded. Yours as long as you're in the role. Insurance. Gas. Maintenance. All covered. I stared at the keys on his desk. "I know this is a lot to process," he continued. "Take the rest of the day. Think it over. Let me know Monday." "I don't need until Monday." He raised an eyebrow. "Where do I sign?" He grinned. "That's what I wanted to hear." I signed the offer letter right there. He shook my hand, told me the car was waiting in the executive lot, handed me the keys. "Go celebrate," he said, "you've earned it." I walked out of his office in a daze, told my assistant I was taking the afternoon off. First time in 2 years. Took the elevator down to the parking garage. The BMW was in spotty 7, jet black. Tinted windows. It still had the dealer plates. I got in. Leather seats. Digital dashboard. It smelled like success and new beginnings. I drove straight to the dealership, signed the paperwork transferring it to my name as a company vehicle. Then I just drove. Took the scenic route along the coast, windows down, letting the engine purr. For the first time since that Thursday I found the messages, I felt like I'd won something. That evening, I took myself to Meridian House, the kind of steakhouse with a dress code and a wine list thicker than the menu. Got seated at the bar. Ordered a 16-ounce ribeye, medium rare, and a bourbon I couldn't have afforded 3 years ago. The bartender made small talk. "Special occasion? New job? Congrats, man. That's huge." It was huge. I'd rebuilt everything they tried to take from me. Better than before. After dinner, I stood in the parking lot next to the BMW. The sun was setting, casting orange light across the hood. On impulse, I took a photo. Just me leaning against the car. City skyline in the background. I hadn't been on social media in 2 years. Deleted everything after the divorce. But that night, I reactivated my LinkedIn. Updated my profile with a new title. Uploaded the photo. Caption. New chapter. Posted it at 9 p.m. By 10 p.m., I had 43 likes. By midnight, over 200. Comments pouring in. "Congratulations. You deserve this. Looking good, man." Old coworkers. College friends. People I hadn't talked to since before the marriage. I fell asleep feeling lighter than I had in years. The call started the next morning. Unknown number. I ignored it. It called back immediately. I sent it to voicemail. 3 more calls by lunch. All unknown numbers. I checked my voicemail during a break. "Honey, it's Mom." Her voice was shaking. "I saw your post. We need to talk. Please call me back. It's important. It's about Felix." I deleted it. She called 6 more times that afternoon. I blocked the number. Then another unknown number started calling. I let them all go to voicemail. By Thursday, I had 14 messages. I deleted them without listening. Friday morning, my assistant buzzed my office. There's someone in the lobby asking for you. I'm in meetings all day. Take a message. I tried. She's refusing to leave. She says she's your mother. My hand froze over my keyboard. She's crying, my assistant added quietly, making a scene. Security's about to get involved. I closed my eyes, took a breath. Give me 5 minutes. I found her in the lobby, mascara smeared, hair unkempt, clutching a tissue. She looked older, smaller, broken. When she saw me, she started crying harder. We need to talk, she said. No, we don't. Please. She grabbed my arm. Just 5 minutes. Please. It's about Felix and Bianca. They're in trouble. Real trouble. People were staring. A receptionist, 2 guys from accounting, my assistant hovering near her desk, phone in hand, probably ready to call security. Conference room, I said. Now. I led her down the hallway. She followed, still clutching that tissue. I closed the door, pulled the blinds shut. Talk. She collapsed into a chair. Full breakdown. Shoulders shaking, gasping for air between sobs. I stood with my arms crossed and waited. Felix lost his job, she finally managed. 6 months ago. He's applied everywhere. Hundreds of applications. No one will hire him. I said nothing. The baby's almost 2 now. Daycare costs are insane. Formula, diapers, doctor appointments. Bianca had to quit her freelance work because she couldn't find child care. The alimony you pay, it's not enough. It's barely covering rent. Sounds like a them problem. She flinched. They're 3 months behind. The landlord's threatening eviction. They have nowhere to go. Not my concern. He's your brother. No. My voice was ice. He stopped being my brother when he decided my wife's bed was more comfortable than his own. That was 2 years ago. And I haven't forgotten a single second of it. She wiped her eyes, looked up at me. You're doing so well now. We saw your post. That car, that promotion. You can afford to help them. You testified against me in court. What? The divorce proceedings. You sat on that stand and told the judge I was emotionally distant. Never showed affection. Made Bianca feel neglected. Remember that? Her face went pale. You backed her lies. Helped her paint me as the villain. Because Felix finally found happiness and I needed to be the bigger person. I leaned against the table. Now you want me to save him? We were wrong, she whispered. I was wrong. I should have supported you. But they're desperate. Your nephew is innocent in all of this. He's not my nephew. He's Felix's kid. Please. She stood up, grabbed both my hands. Hers were shaking. I'm begging you. They have nothing. Your father and I are retired. We can't keep helping them. Bills are piling up. Medical expenses. The baby had colic for months. Still sees a specialist for reflux issues. Insurance barely covers any of it. I pulled my hands away. Just come see them. She said. See how bad it is. Maybe then you'll understand. I understand perfectly. They made their choices. Now they live with them. She reached into her purse, pulled out a crumpled piece of paper. This is their address. Just drive by. You don't even have to go in. Just see. She pressed it into my palm. That's all I'm asking. Please. I looked down at the paper. An address in a part of town I'd never been to. The kind of neighborhood where car alarms go off at night and people don't make eye contact. If you won't do it for them, she said quietly, do it for me. I'm your mother. I made mistakes, but I'm still your mother. I folded the paper, put it in my pocket. She took that as agreement. Grabbed my arm. Thank you so much. Just talk to them. That's all. I didn't say I'd help, but you'll go? I opened the conference room door. You need to leave. I have work to do. She hesitated, then nodded. Wiped her face one more time. Thank you for hearing me out. I watched her walk back through the lobby and out to the parking lot. Watched her get into her car, Dad's old sedan, the one with the peeling paint on the hood. Then I went back to my office, sat at my desk, pulled the paper out of my pocket, stared at that address for 10 minutes. I should have thrown it away. Should have torn it up and tossed it in the recycling bin. Should have forgotten this entire conversation, but I didn't. That evening, after everyone else had gone home, I got in my BMW, sat there in the parking garage with the engine running. I could go home, or a drink, go for a run, pretend this day never happened, or I could drive to that address. See what 2 years of consequences look like. Not because I cared, not because I wanted to help, but because I needed to see it. Needed to see them drowning. Needed confirmation that karma was real and justice eventually caught up. I put the car in drive. 20 minutes later, I was pulling onto a street I never would have driven down otherwise. Potholes, overgrown lawns, chain-link fences with rust eating through the metal. My BMW stuck out like a diamond in a garbage pile. The address led to a duplex with peeling siding. Their car, a beat-up Honda Civic with a cracked windshield, sat in the driveway. I parked across the street. Destroyed the engine. Lights were on inside. Through the window, I could see movement. Shadows passing back and forth. Then I heard it, a baby crying. High-pitched, constant, the kind of wailing that doesn't stop. I sat there for 5 minutes, just watching, listening. Then I got out of the car and walked up to the front door. I knocked twice. The crying got louder. Footsteps. The door opened. Bianca stood there holding a screaming toddler on her hip. Her hair was greasy, pulled back in a messy bun. Dark circles under her eyes. Stained shirt. She froze when she saw me. "You came," she whispered. The baby kept wailing. She bounced him mechanically, like she'd been doing it for hours and stopped registering it. "Is that Felix's voice from inside?" He appeared behind her. Thinner than I remembered. Unshaven, wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt with holes in it. "Holy crap. You actually came." I didn't move from the doorstep. "Come in," Felix said. "Please, come in." The apartment was small. Toys scattered across the floor. Dishes piled in the sink. The air smelled like sour milk and desperation. Mom was sitting on a sagging couch in the corner. Her eyes red. They led me to a kitchen table with mismatched chairs. Felix cleared off papers, bills, judging by the red past due stamps. Bianca kept trying to calm the baby, but he wouldn't stop screaming. "He's got reflux," she explained, raising her voice over the crying. "Won't stop unless he's eating or sleeping. Doctor says it'll pass eventually." I said nothing. Just looked at them. "We're 3 months behind on rent," Felix started. Jumped right in, no preamble. "Landlord's filing eviction papers next week." I've been applying everywhere. Retail, restaurants, warehouses, anything. But with a gap on my resume and no references, he trailed off. "No one's biting. Daycare's $1,500 a month," Bianca added. The baby finally quieted down to a whimper. "I had to give up freelancing. Can't work and watch him at the same time. Your alimony covers most of the rent, but there's utilities, food, formula, diapers, medical bills. He sees a specialist twice a month," Felix cut in. "Insurance covers some of it, but we're still paying $300 out of pocket each visit." I leaned back in my chair. Let the silence stretch. Felix glanced at Bianca. She looked at Mom. Mom stared at me with pleading eyes. "I know I screwed up," Felix said finally. "I know I don't deserve your help. But we're family. You're doing amazing now. We saw your post. That car. That promotion. You worked hard for it. You earned it. And I'm proud of you, man. I really am." "We made mistakes," Bianca said, tears starting. "I was selfish. I hurt you. I destroyed what we had. I don't expect forgiveness, but please, for him." She nodded at the baby. "He didn't ask for any of this." Mom stood up, walked over to me, put her hand on my shoulder. "Please. Honey. They need you. Just a few $100s a month. A loan. Anything." I looked at each of them. Felix, fidgeting with his hands. Bianca, tears streaming down her face. Mom, gripping my shoulder like it was a lifeline. Then I stood up. "Wait," Felix jumped to his feet. "Where are you going?" I walked to the door. "Please." Felix followed me. "Just think about it. You don't have to decide now, just consider it." I opened the door. It was pouring outside. Rain hammering the pavement, flooding the gutters. I'd been inside less than 10 minutes, but the sky had opened up. "Don't do this." Felix came out after me, immediately soaked. "We're family." I walked toward my BMW, heard Bianca and Mom come out onto the porch, staying under the small overhang. "He's your brother," Mom shouted over the rain. I reached the car, looked back. Felix was standing in the middle of the street, rain plastering his hair to his forehead, t-shirt clinging to his frame. Bianca was crying on the porch, still holding the baby, trying to shield him from the spray. Mom had both hands on the railing. "Please," Felix said, water running down his face. "I'm begging you." I unlocked the car, opened the door, and smiled. Not a big smile. Just a small one. Cold. The kind of smile you give someone when you know they've finally realized they've lost. Felix saw it. His face crumpled. "Don't. Please don't." I got in, closed the door, locked it. Felix ran to the window, banging on the glass. "We're sorry." "I'm sorry. Please." I started the engine. The purr drowned out his voice. Bianca screamed something I couldn't hear. Mom was sobbing. I put the car in drive. Felix slammed his hands on the hood. "Don't leave us like this." I drove forward slowly. He had to jump back. In the rearview mirror, I watched them. Felix on his knees in the street, water pooling around him. Bianca collapsed on the porch steps. Mom clinging to the doorframe. They got smaller. Smaller. Gone. I drove home in silence. Parked the BMW in my driveway. My house. The one they couldn't touch. The one thing they never took from me. Inside, I poured myself a drink. Sat on my couch. The one I'd bought after throwing out everything that reminded me of her. They'd made their choice. Celebrated my destruction. Testified against me. Took my money, my car, my dignity, and now they wanted me to save them. Family, she said. They were never my family. That night, I slept better than I had in 2 years. They'll figure it out. Or they won't. Either way, it's not my problem anymore. I left them in the rain, and I've never looked back. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.